Chief Little Bear,
Oh, and what do you do?
pro wrestler,
How long you been a pro wrestler?
26 years.
26 years. So, when did you first start?
Back in '89.
1989.
Yes.
Okay, now I understand you say you got a YouTube channel too?
Yes, I do.
And how many videos do you have on there?
7 or 8.
7 or 8?
7 or 8. It could even be 10. I haven't counted.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Now, what is the, there's WWE and there's, what is it? I think it's NXT and, you know,
Right.
So what federation are you with?
Right now, I'm working with 4 different wrestling organizations.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, when you wrestle, is it something like where you're an independent contractor or something like that?
That's correct, independent.
So then that means, in other words, you get paid for that one night and that's it or something like that?
That's correct.
Okay, now, what is it about some people that will make it to WWE and you know, Raw and the great big, you know, I think it's Ed McMahon, no, Vince McMahon, right? He's
Vince, that is correct.
He's the one that's the owner of WWE, is that right?
That is correct.
Now, do they ever give invitations to people in other words, to join them or something like that? What is the process?
Not usually. You pretty much have to join their school or be someone famous to get in.
Well, now, how do you get famous then if you...
Well, you gotta, you know, you gotta work at it. It's like anything else. You gotta climb that ladder.
But if you've been in there 26 years, aren't there a lot of wrestlers that have not been in there nowhere near as long as you and have made it to, I guess, is WWE considered the pinnacle or something like that?
It is. It's the top of the food chain, so to speak, if you will.
Right.
Right.
So, what is there, like when you go to pick somebody up over, are they helping you, or is it something, are they jumping and taking some of the weight off? Or are there times when you literally have to pick somebody up?
You have to pick people up.
Is there a technique for doing it or something?
There's a technique. It's like everything else. You know, there is a technique. Just like when you're lifting weights, there's a technique to it.
So are you somehow or another using body leverage or something like that?
Yes, you could say that, body leverage, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've been there 26 years.
Wrestled for 26 years.
Golly day. So are you, is there anywhere that anybody can see you on TV or anything like that?
When I was on TV, we're talking about the early 90s.
Really?
I have no idea unless they find something in the archives.
Okay, so is it something, Chief Little Bear? Is that something to like where? I'm trying to figure out some good questions to ask you. Why don't you tell me some stuff about you?
Well, I'm originally from Louisiana. I followed wrestling since I was about 10.
Right.
And I've always loved it. And so when I got old enough, unfortunately I started late in life. I was 25 years old when I started. Usually you start earlier, but it wasn't available when I went to school, so I didn't learn any amateur wrestling. I went straight to the pros when I learned.
Really?
My trainer was Boris Malenko.
Huh? Wasn't there a Dean Malenko that was a wrestler, I think?
Dean Malenko, that was his father.
Really?
I was trained by Dean Malenko's father.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming that there are a lot of people who think, well, I'm going to become a wrestler, and they get weeded out real quick?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And then they got some of them that make it, but consider themselves wrestlers, and they're not really fully trained or, you know, I mean, it's just one of those things, backyard wrestling.
Yeah, have you ever heard of CM Punk?
Yeah, I don't like him.
Really? Really?
Yeah, I mean, some people do, some people don't. I think he's overrated.
Oh, I see what you're saying. What you mean, in other words, personally you don't like him, it's just that you think he's overrated is what you're saying.
Yeah. There are much better wrestlers than he is.
What do you think about this guy that come from England that he's supposed to be like a high flyer or something? I can't remember his name right now. Neville.
He's good.
What's his name? Adrian Neville or something like that?
He's a good guy. Yeah. Don't know him personally, but I've seen some of his work.
How did they take and jump on somebody out into the crowd without getting killed?
Again, it's training. It's all in the training. Just like if you played football, you've got to learn how to play football, and you have to learn the plays. And just like if you learn martial arts, there's a technique to it.
You mean to tell me even when you hit the concrete or something like that? Because I've seen, you know, some wrestling. There's a new type of wrestling. I saw this one guy that was on recently that was absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, that high flying, and are they cooperating with each other or something like that?
Probably a little bit of it.
Do they have an idea who, in the match there, do they happen to know who is going to win and who's going to lose?
Well, you want to try to win.
You want to try to win.
You want to try to win, yeah, because it
Right.
looks good, you know.
Right.
If you always lose, then, you know, kind of looks bad.
But you've heard of something I guess called a KAFB, or in other words, supposedly
Kayfabe?
Yeah, right, kayfabe.
Yeah, there's kayfabe, yes.
Okay, can you explain to me a little bit more about kayfabe?
Not really.
Okay. Oh, I see. You told me you have to kill me, wouldn't you?
Pretty much.
Oh, I
Pretty
see
much.
what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Well, I'm not trying to incriminate you or anything like that.
right.
But
we do have our secrets.
I got a lot of respect for wrestlers. Anybody who says that you can just get in there and whew, all I can say is, man, you know, I got a lot of respect for you all.
Right.
Anybody who says it's fake, get in the ring there and see how it wears you out, right?
Yeah, you're right. It hurts. It hurts.
Have you ever sustained any kind of injuries or anything like that yourself?
Fractured a hip.
No.
Fractured a hip.
Really?
Still wrestled. Didn't go to the hospital. Didn't actually go to the hospital until about 10 years later.
What?
Found out that I had fractured my hip. So, yep. You can seriously get hurt. I've seen guys break arms, legs, backs, necks, ribs, nose, cheekbones, you name it, I've seen it.
All right, what about the ones where they have tacks?
Yeah,
you heard of
I don't do those.
Jeff Hardy?
Yeah,
you've heard of Jeff Hardy?
To me, those matches, when hardcore matches are for people that can't wrestle.
Why do you say that? I'm just curious to know.
Because if you're going to get into some kind of a match like that, and that's all you do is hardcore matches, that means you're not good enough to actually wrestle, so you got to come up with some kind of gimmick in order to
Really?
put yourself over.
Really? I mean, daggone it, when I see them putting tacks out there, taking and having barbed wire and everything like that, and then the fall, how can you fake when they take a ladder and hit somebody? How can you fake when the ladder, when you fall, you know,
Gravity hurts, yeah, exactly. You fall on the ladder, you're going to fall. You go through a table, you're going to go through a table.
So what you're saying is when you go through a table, when somebody puts you through a table,
there's no.
It feels bad. And what I mean is it ain't no piece of cake, is what you're saying.
That is correct.
And are there people that have permanently broken their back or something like that?
There's a few people. It will shorten your lifespan in the pro wrestling.
Really? Okay, now, what kind of wrestling do you do compared to what's called hardcore matches?
I'm more of a, what it says is wrestling, and that's what I believe in wrestling. I like counters, reversals. I'm more of a wrestler than you would say.
You like Kurt Angle? What do you think about him?
Kurt Angle is very good. Of course, he won some gold medals in wrestling, so yes, he's very good.
Right. And so what you're saying is those kind of people, what you're saying is they're not banging on people. They're using real skill, pure skill is what you're saying.
That is correct.
Huh.
Wrestling is an art form.
Yeah. So in other words, somebody who might think, well, they're taller than you or something like that, you know, they're bigger than you or something like that. You have ways of, because you know, I guess, what is it, the mechanics of the body or something like that?
Correct.
You're able to take and use where somebody might think they're taller than you, and they're bigger than you, and they might think, well, they have it on you, but because you probably have autopilot in your mind or something like, you automatically have it to where you probably do moves and you don't even think about it. Am I correct on that?
Yes, I do have to. Me being a small wrestler, many times I face guys bigger than me, which means I have to be smarter.
Really?
It's a chess game.
Well, have you ever wrestled somebody that's like 7 foot tall?
No, but 550 pounds.
Who?
Yokozuna, before he was Yokozuna.
How the hell do you...
550 pounds, yes.
So how did you manage to do that? With 550 pounds, you think all these...
You can't move 550 pounds.
yeah, what I'm saying is if he was to sit on you, or how would you get him up? How much can you bench press?
I've benched 550 before.
How much have you put over your head?
Maybe 300. Back in my good days.
Really? Now, would that be easy, or would that be a challenge?
For me now, it would be a challenge, because I'm older now, so...
How old are you?
51.
Whoa! So, I guess then you started when you was in your 20s or something like that? 25. Let me ask you something, Chief Little Bear. You said you got a YouTube channel?
There is something on YouTube. You can go under Chief Little Bear Versus or Chief Little Bear Wrestling, and you'll see stuff on it.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to put you under, because I'm a cheap, shameless advertising whore, under Jimbikeman.
Okay.
Jimbikeman, and then Chief Little Bear, and I'm gonna put you on there.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah. Because I think wrestlers need a hell of a lot more. Anybody who says, "Oh, that's fake," bullshit, man.
It hurts. It hurts.
Okay, so when you fractured your hip, was that something where you was thrown concrete and what was
over
it?
The top rope.
You was thrown over the top rope?
Top rope landed on my side.
Onto the concrete?
Onto the ring itself. So I hit the corner.
Oh, no padding is what you're saying.
It was padding, but still, it's a lot of force coming down. So yeah.
Do you ever get used to the pain after a while or something like that?
A little.
So what you're saying is pain, and just because you've endured an injury of pain, that injury doesn't get less if you get put in the same predicament.
That is correct. It doesn't get less. Pain is pain. You just learn to tolerate it a little easier. Right.
That is phenomenal, man. Little Bear, Cheap Little Bear. You can go under Jimbikeman and you can see all the videos that I have put up.
Okay. Because
the smartphone right here, man, I love it, man. See, it only gives me about 13 minutes. So you're in Panama City, Florida right now, right?
Correct.
Okay, what area do you wrestle in? How far away do you wrestle?
Not as far anymore because I own businesses, so I just go out when close around. Within about 2 hour drive.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
Thank you, Cheap Little Bear. I have a lot of respect for you wrestlers. Anybody who says it's fake, get in the ring. That's all I got to say.
Exactly.